Hey everyone, my name is Jana Ellard and I'm the founder of Artifex Digital. I appreciate you guys taking the time to come to the website, and I just wanted to make this video to give you more detail and more insight into the types of projects that we like to work on, the types of brands and companies that we integrate really well with, as well as how we think about acquisition as a whole, the types of deliverables that we have here at the company. Just to give you a broad overview of what we think about and how we service clients, to give you as much possible information ahead of time before you decide whether or not to go ahead and book a discovery call. So hopefully this video can serve as a little bit of an introduction. You can get a taste of what it's like to work with Artifex, and if you want to speak with me directly, absolutely, we can go through the discovery process after that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Miro board. So we really look at 4 different pillars, I would say, to our professional services firm. All of these are interconnected. All of these broadly have to do with this idea of customer acquisition, but they service slightly different areas. And this is the way that we're thinking about the different projects. So we start off with this idea of just the general strategy of acquisition. How do you acquire customers for your business online? There's all sorts of things to think about, so many moving parts in this idea of using all the different digital mechanisms available to you to acquire customers for your business, and some of which we service directly. And in addition to that, we also have a suite or a sourcing network to help you find additional talent outside of the things that we service directly as well. The second pillar is performance marketing. This is our bread and butter. So many people at the company have a long track record of working on a number of different media buying, media planning projects for many years. So this has been one of our core service deliverables since we started the company. I'm going to talk a little bit about the ways in which we think about performance marketing today. The next piece is this idea of brand story and the marketing calendar and the distribution of your marketing moments through the ad networks. This has become increasingly important as time has gone on here. This is something that I'm going to speak about more deeply, and I think uniquely very important in certain industries these days. Then the final pillar is this idea of financial stewardship. You and your company is going to be investing large scale sums of money into different digital advertising platforms, different marketing initiatives, and also into third-party partnerships and SaaS tools and things like that. So we really believe in financial transparency and giving you guys the tool sets to make decisions on the level of real finances, rather than some of the smoke and mirrors that you might get natively from the ad platforms, let's say. So that's the 4 pillars of what we think about. In terms of the types of brands that we work with, we work heavily with e-commerce companies. You're going to see this all over the website. Direct-to-consumer or direct-to-consumer plus wholesale plus retail. But these consumer brands, we've serviced for many, many years, and we will continue to focus on them for years to come. Gosney is a really big one. We're really proud of the work we've done with them over the last 3.5 years. Quince is an e-commerce darling in America. We've worked quite deeply with them in their B2B program as well, and their corporate gifting too, in addition to that. We work with creator brands. So Simon Sinek is a big one. He has a suite of digital courses and digital deliverables that he leverages his public persona to actually acquire customers for, as well as The Good Store is another one. This is John and Hank Green, the Vlog Brothers, famous YouTubers who have a charity D2C shop that sells subscription products to then give back that charity money to different sources and different charities across the world. It's an incredible project we've been lucky to work on with them. But if you're working with famous personalities, people with existing YouTube, Instagram, TikTok presences, and they're looking to monetize their audience, this is a really good fit. The third piece is event companies, so live events. Even before I started Artifex, I worked for an agency that specifically did digital advertising and media buying for music festivals, concerts, pop-up events, and things like that. And so we still service live events. It's a big passion of mine as well. So we work with All Things Go Music Festival right now, which is a really cool project. The festival live in DC, New York, and Toronto in Canada. And then we also have Music at the Intersection as well, which is doing some really cool things. Like blending this idea of a music festival with different cultural events and technology events as well. And then the final piece is four-wall businesses. We integrate well with these because they're very similar in the way that they try to acquire customers through digital advertising. The only difference is that we're trying to get customers that actually physically go into a store. So Mayo is a clinic here. They do RMT services and physical therapy and things like that. Nefair, again, is a spa that does facials and skincare and stuff like that too. So the same principles of digital advertising and customer acquisition can be applied to these four-wall businesses, and we really like servicing them too. So let's talk about these four pillars. I want to go into a little bit more detail about each of them and how we think about acquisition as a whole. So let's start with this idea of acquisition strategy. There's a lot of different ways that we integrate with different brands, and all of them are related to this idea of acquiring customers profitably. And so we really think first on this high level of strategy. How do we actually do that for your business? What are the main mechanisms to do that? What might be the channel mix, the budgeting mix, the levers that we have available to us to actually go ahead and acquire customers? So this can come in many different forms. A lot of it at the beginning starts as advisory work, auditing your current setups, consulting over time, even working with your in-house teams to do different trainings to help you with this customer acquisition machine engine and getting it moving further and further. And as we go through this process, we end up finding gaps, we end up finding holes or areas of improvement. And those areas, either we are able to service directly with our in-house firm, or we also have access to a really good sourcing network of trusted, vetted professionals, whether they're on the agency or the freelance side. This community that I'm able to tap into really helps with our clients when they need trusted service providers, but we don't execute on it directly. So we're able to source good email marketing services, fractional CFO, HubSpot optimization, SEO, et cetera, from this suite of additional talent that we have access to through the company. So this is one of the benefits of working with small firms, is you can kind of have bespoke, custom catered solutions to your unique business problems. And we really try to help with that, even in areas that we don't directly service, as it all comes back to the customer acquisition. And when we source you good email marketing talent, that's only going to help with your digital advertising performing more profitably. Let's then move to performance marketing. This has been our bread and butter for so many years. And we just have channel expertise across the board here: Meta, Google, YouTube, TikTok to connected TV, as well as any other paid platforms. LinkedIn, Pinterest, Snapchat, programmatic, wherever there are paid media dollars, we have expertise there. And so working with the ad networks and the distribution networks is something that we directly execute on. And there's all sorts of additional work to be done, not just around the media buying, but around the media planning as well. Setting up your tracking infrastructure, having a clear idea of attribution, media measurement, and actually properly understanding what your media investment is doing for you and doing for your business. We get into the weeds around forecasting and growth modeling as well, scenario planning, which is really important. In addition to that, we really are setting up your ad accounts to be a reflection of what's actually going on in your business, whether it's a particular inventory position you're in, whether it's a launch that you have on the horizon, whether it's a particular focus within the organization to achieve a specific goal. We work to construct the work within the ad platforms to be a mirror of what's actually going on in the company. And in addition to that, there's all sorts of peripheral pieces that are involved in media buying and planning that are also relevant. Quizzes, post-purchase surveys, creative briefing, creative measurement, things like that are all part of the actual undeliverable service for us. The third piece is becoming increasingly important in these industries, I would say. I think that for a long time, brands have been have leaned very heavily on this idea of evergreen, always on advertising, just running direct response campaigns, keeping them going, and just continuing to push out different ad variants of different offers. That's all fine and good, but the way to really win the game is to come up with real marketing activities, real marketing activations, and then use the ad network as distribution mechanisms of the actual marketing work. And so a lot of this comes from within your organization, absolutely, but the benefit of working with us is that we also take this very seriously. We want to be involved in this ideation of the marketing moments, figuring out ways to activate the brand stories and distributing it through the ad platform so that you have this top-down brand idea that then gets distributed through meta ads, YouTube, your email marketing tool, SMS blast to your customers and things like that. So taking the level of the brand voice and the brand moment and the brand activation and passing that through all of the digital channels to actually acquire new customers and turn it into revenue generation is really important. We're also going to work with you on your marketing calendar. So figuring out ways to tie your brand to certain civic holidays, certain events during the year, and use those moments in the marketing calendar to create outsized revenue moments for your business. Whether it's a tie into a civic holiday, it's a product launch, it's a new colorway, it's a brand partnership, whatever it may be, figuring out a way to integrate this marketing calendar on the level of the organization with the actual dollars and cents you're spending on your digital advertising is very important to us. Then the final but very important pillar is this idea of financial stewardship. Ultimately, your brand and your companies are going to be spending a huge amount of money on digital advertising. And you need to have a really clear, concise, easy to digest way to discern how that media spend is actually doing for your business. And so, yeah, there are areas where you might want to look at what Meta says or what Google says on the level of their attributed reporting. But what we really add on top of that as an extra layer is this level of real dollars and cent reporting around your media investment, down to the level of the P&L, down to the level of the forecast that we've built for you guys, controlling your customer acquisition costs based on the margin profile of your customers, making sure that you're profitable when you're actually acquiring these customers, making sure that you're prepared on the level of inventory based on which particular products might be selling, making sure that you're running your ad platform in a way that's maximizing actual contribution dollars for your business, not just in-platform ROAS, and doing the actual work of media buying and media planning around financial outcomes for the business to make you money. I would make an analogy here very similarly in a way to someone like a wealth manager. You're entrusting a large sum of money to your wealth manager to go and invest it into certain mutual funds and bits of the stock market and things like that. And you would hope that that could be done with complete transparency and a kind of responsibility because it's your money. And that is exactly how we think about media buying as well. Giving you complete transparency and visibility into the actual financial outcomes of the money you are investing, providing a kind of downside protection with the knowledge that you're working with trained expert professionals who can weather storms, who can pivot when things are down, and who can really capture moments when things are good to maximize that growth as well. So this idea of the financial stewardship being a real core pillar of the business is the backdrop of everything else that we do. We make marketing moments to create revenue for the business. We set up your ad accounts in a way that are aligned with your customer acquisition targets and your margin profile. We source different talent and projects and agencies for you based on the amount of operating expense room you might have on your P&L. So everything comes down to this backdrop of the decision making that you are making in your organization needs to be backed by the level of finance, and this is how we operate with our partners as well. So that's what I have. That's an overview of what it's like to work with Artifex. These are the things that we think about in terms of the pillars of our business and what we activate on. These are the types of businesses that we work with, and just a little bit into the type of firm that we are and how we think about our clients and how we think about our projects. So if this is at all interesting to you, absolutely, let's hop on a discovery call. Let's talk a little bit further about your project and see if there's any way for us to help you guys out. But I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much. Hope to talk to you soon.